Hello everyone. Today I will show you a drama fantasy movie titled Premature. Spoiler ahead, watch out. This movie revolves around a high school boy named Rob Crab. He is very good at studying, but all the girls ignore him because he is a nerd. Because he never has a girlfriend, not even a one-night stand. Rob gets frustrated often. One morning, while Rob is still in bed, he reaches climax in his pants. At this moment, his mother comes in. She notices his wet pants and awkwardly tells him to throw the sheets into the laundry room. Afterwards, Rob takes a shower and gets ready for school. This is an important day for him because he is going to have an admission interview with Georgetown University. Rob's father, Jim, also attended the same university, which is why he hopes his son gets admitted there. Before arriving at school, Rob goes to his best friend Stanley's house. Stanley is also a nerd, but due to some magical tricks, he has found a hot girlfriend for himself and has regular intercourse with her. At school, Stanley and Rob join the latter's childhood friend Gabriel and her super nerd friend Arthur. Obviously, Gabriel has feelings for Rob. She invites him to her house later in the day. Rob and Gabriel have an annual tradition of drinking beer and watching Spellbee. Rob accepts the invitation, but he is quickly distracted by his crush Angela. Suddenly, some fraternity boys appear and bully Rob, wetting his pants with a toy water gun. However, Rob quickly realizes that his pants are not only wet with water, but also wet with something else. It turns out he got too excited after seeing his crush Angela. This is the worst possible timing, because all of Rob's important interviews are scheduled an hour later. Gabriel suggests he buys a new pair of pants from the Lost and Found, but Rob decides to wear his gym shorts. Not long after, when Rob and Stanley are preparing for the interview in the library, Angela unexpectedly finds him. She asks him to help her with a test, and even invites him to her house later in the night. Rob is shocked by the unexpected invitation, but as a loyal friend, he turns her down, saying he already has plans with Gabrielle. Later in class, Stanley berates Rob for turning down Angela's once-in-a-lifetime proposal, claiming she totally likes him. Therefore, he suggests his best friend bails on Gabriel and tutors Angela instead. Later, Gabriel accompanies Rob to the interview and gives him a pep talk, assuring him he'll do great. A man named Jack Ross is ready to take the interview, and as soon as Rob walks into the room, he apologizes for his ridiculous shorts. Ross is used to seeing students being bullied at school, and he says it's okay. In the interview, Rob is asked why he wants to study at Georgetown University. Rob does not talk about the quality and infrastructure there, but mentions the only reason is that his parents met there. This touches Ross deeply. He tears up, because he also met his late wife at Georgetown. From then on, the interview only goes downhill, as Ross cannot control his emotions. After that awful interview, Rob expresses his disappointment in Stanley, mentioning that he is a complete failure. Stanley sympathizes with him and suggests he relieves his emotions with Angela. This time, Rob accepts his suggestion, canceling plans with Gabriel. He lies, saying he feels unwell due to the previous awful interview. Rob then heads to Angela's place, but on the way there, he encounters a minor accident. However, he ignores it and continues his journey. As soon as he arrives at Angela's, she takes him to the bedroom and has him sit on her bed. Then she sits next to him, stroking his thigh. An electric current runs through Rob's body. He jumps suddenly, causing her to spill wine on him. Angela quickly takes off her top and changes clothes in front of Rob, which surprises him greatly. She tells him how much she wants to study with him. At this moment, she leans in to kiss him, placing her hand on his pants. Rob gets extremely excited, loses self-control, and climaxes in his pants. Suddenly, he wakes up in bed with wet underwear. Rob's mother comes in again, telling him to change the sheets. Rob is confused. He doesn't know whether he really experienced the previous days or was just dreaming. Regardless, he prepares for school, and as always, Rob's father cheers him on for his interview. Then he goes to school, where he experiences the same things again that he saw in his so-called dream. The fraternity boys ruin Rob's pants again, forcing him to change into gym shorts. In the library, Rob tells Stanley about his dream. Angela wants to have intercourse with him. Just then, Angela comes over asking Rob to tutor her. This time, he agrees without hesitation. In the interview, Ross breaks down in tears again, and Rob doesn't comfort him. He just walks out. Afterwards, he goes to the school clinic looking for ways to treat premature ejaculation. However, upon seeing the school nurse holding a sick student against his will, he immediately leaves. On the way to Angela's house, Rob realizes that he forgot to cancel his plans with Gabriel. However, he ignores this, and as before, he encounters an accident. Later, he kisses Angela and ends prematurely once again. In the next moment, Rob wakes up in the bedroom, and for the second time, everything that happened in the past few days starts repeating from the beginning. This confuses him, but he is still unsure if everything is just a dream. The scene then cuts to Stanley's home, where he is in bed with his hot girlfriend Lisa. Stanley asks her why she hides their relationship from everyone, and Lisa tells him that she can't be seen with an unpopular guy like him. Their conversation is interrupted when Rob barges into the bedroom to explain the situation to Stanley. However, seeing Lisa in her underwear, Rob gets aroused, and the day starts over again. Rob rushes to school, trying to talk to Gabriel about his problem. Like clockwork, the annoying fraternity boys appear and shoot at him with water guns. But this time, Rob loses his temper and smashes the toy. This angers the boys, and they chase him around the school. Rob manages to lock himself in a room, But the bullying boys start knocking on the door. Realizing he doesn't have much time, Rob decides to use his superpower. He climaxes, and the day resets. His mother approaches him, but Rob is not embarrassed. Instead, he's happy that he successfully escaped the bullying. In the kitchen, his father, Jim, continues his lecture. But this time, Rob stops him. He says he wants to do things differently, which is why he is not interested in going to Georgetown University. At school, Stanley talks about having coitus with girls again, but Rob is no longer interested. Instead, he starts talking about how there are greater things in life than having coitus. Rob is now carefree, driving a huge golf cart through the school corridors. Later, he smokes a joint with Gabriel, and they talk about their friendship. From their conversation, it is revealed that Rob saved Gabriel from bullying in elementary school, and since then, they have been together. Rob is emotional. He promises Gabriel that no matter what happens, they will keep their tradition of watching Spell Bee every year. Afterwards, he appears in the interview, offering advice to Ross on how to cope with the death of a wife. Then, Rob runs into his childhood bully, Sally. He decides to use his power to rearrange his day for revenge. He punches the girl in front of everyone, and ends up being called to the principal's office. There, he learns that Sally has called the police, and now he's in big trouble. Hearing this, Rob finally panics and runs out of the office. Then he approaches Stanley, explains everything, but Stanley doesn't understand anything. Despite this, he still helps Rob, and takes him to the girls' changing room. However, Rob can't gather enough energy to please himself. He walks out of the dressing room in frustration, deciding to turn himself in. Just then, he encounters Sally, and Sally kicks him in the groin. That kick knocks him down. He climaxes. Rob wakes up in bed again. He goes to school feeling really bad. Gabriel reminds him about the ending of Spell Bee, but Rob rudely cancels their planned annual activity. Stanley senses that his best friend is having a rough time and tries to cheer him up for his interview. This touches Rob, and he gives Stanley a hug. After a while, Angela once again invites Rob to her place, and Rob immediately agrees. Then he goes for the interview, but this time Gabriel is not waiting for him in the hallway. As a result, Rob is depressed throughout the whole interview process. Ross accepts his sadness, telling him he's the perfect student for Georgetown University. Rob can no longer hide the truth. He goes straight to Gabriel's house and confesses everything. Gabriel finds it hard to believe, but she still keeps an open mind. She tells Rob about her secret fantasy about Abraham Lincoln, which no one knows about. Then she asks Rob to tell her his problem again after he resets the date, instructing him to use her Abraham Lincoln secret to prove he's telling the truth. Then, Gabriel takes Rob to see the smartest boy in school, Arthur's house, seeking his help. However, there, Arthur's superstitious grandmother attacks him, calling him J. Duger. Arthur's mother and Gabriel come to rescue him, putting themselves in between. Unfortunately, the friction attracts Rob's attention, and he resets the day again. Rob confronts Arthur in school and demands to know the meaning of Jaduger. Arthur hesitates to help him, so Rob follows him to the bathroom, sticks his head into the toilet, until he finds out that the word means cursed. Then Rob asks to know how to break the curse. However, Arthur swears he doesn't know how to help him, and Rob finally lets him go. Afterwards, he explains to Gabriel and Stan again about the infinite loop he's stuck in. To prove himself, he tells Gabriel the Abraham Lincoln secret she told him in the previous loop. This finally makes the two of them believe that Rob isn't lying. After listening to him, Stanley assumes that Rob might be cursed because he did something wrong, and he must do it right to break the curse. Rob agrees with this, and seriously considers what he did wrong. His conclusion is that he and Angela didn't have coitus properly. Therefore, he goes to Angela's class and proposes to tutor her that night, which disappoints Gabriel greatly. In the next scene, Stan teaches Rob how to properly please a woman, then sends him to Angela's house. These lessons seem to work. Rob is able to exercise more self-control. As they are about to do, Angela tells Rob they can have coitus freely, but Rob must do her homework when he gets home. Hearing this, Rob realizes Angela doesn't love him. She's only using him for homework. He also understands that he should be with Gabriel, not Angela. Outside, he encounters his father, Jim, who finds out Rob didn't attend the interview. Jim refuses to let Rob ruin his life, takes him to the hotel where Ross lives. They go to the restaurant with Ross. Ross asks Jim why he insists on sending his son to Georgetown. Jim tells him what he learned from college. However, Ross replies that maybe his son doesn't want what he wants in his life. After a while, Rob is sent to get drinks on the TV at the bar. He sees the end of the spelling bee. Rob suddenly realizes he really likes Gabriel, but he didn't go to see her that night. Maybe that's why the day keeps going backwards. Rob returns to the table, tells his father he likes Gabriel. He doesn't want to go to Georgetown. Jim is a little upset, but he agrees to support his son's decision. Then Jim and Ross take Rob to Gabriel's house, help him climb up to her window. Here, it's revealed that the car that keeps hitting Rob is Roth's. Once in her bedroom, Rob explains everything to Gabriel and reveals he didn't sleep with Angela. However, Gabriel is still upset with him and asks him to leave. When he refuses, she takes off her top so he can be aroused and start the day again. The commotion draws the attention of Gabriel's father, who rushes to her room. Gabriel is embarrassed. Rob clarifies to her father that he wasn't trying to take advantage of her. Instead, he expresses his love for her, admitting that it took him too long to realize his true feelings. Unfortunately, she doesn't say a word, so a heartbroken Rob leaves through the window. But when Gabriel's father closes the door and leaves, she stops Rob from leaving, and they watch the spelling bee together. Then they make out and have coitus. This time the day doesn't change. Rob is still in bed with Gabriel. The time loop is broken. It turns out these two people were meant to be together. That's why the universe kept repeating until they found their way to each other. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.